Alright, so today we are jumping into the Ranged Aaroniero Guild quest, getting this out kind of late. Hopefully I can upload this before reset, which for me is happening in 2 hours time, because I want to talk about this character. And that character, of course, being Zombie Bambietta. Man, and I'm saying this as someone that has a max transcended. Does this character suck? And honestly, I sympathize with everyone that's using this character without her being max transcended, or especially those that do not even have this character, because man, for a killer as common as Aaroniero, and it's kind of funny because we were saying this about phase 1 with Rain's Super Killer, if you just don't have Zombie Bambietta, and especially Giselle, it just sucks. It just sucks for such a common killer that we surprisingly don't have many alternative options. So as you'll see here, the top 5 most used characters that we are going to see be used here, of course, is Zombie Bambietta. She's the best character for this phase. Even then, not saying much. 7th anniversary Ichigo only has Frenzy +1. It's in a way, an achievement for the character, but at the same time just goes to show how lackluster Ranged Aaroniero killers have been, that Ichigo is the 2nd most used character, despite him releasing almost 3 years ago. If you are using Ichigo, you really are going to have the character max transcended. Rengiku honestly has a really good damage output to a certain extent. She has good skills. She even buffs Aizen, a character that you're going to be seeing used as one of the more popular autoplayed characters, but the problem with Rengiku is that her strong attack kit is not the best. And at the same time, the final bosses being powered doesn't help her out whatsoever. And with that, people are then opting to use Esno. He's a melee character, so you're really just relying on the weakening and also debuffs to carry you through. And at that point, it just gets worse and worse, right? Arskin is not the greatest Guild Quest character, and Rukia, again, similar to Rengiku, has a really good damage output. Like, this character has Rampage, one of the best skills in the entire game, but unfortunately for her, her SA2 just does no damage because it's a melee attack. Now, with that in mind, these characters, most of them are fine when it comes to clearing the first 5 waves. Like, they're honestly fine, and then when it comes to the extra waves, you can probably get by with what you do have, at least for extra level 1 and also 2. But of course, now because we have extra level 3 and 4, you need to do 100+ million more damage, almost 200 million more damage to actually beat all 4 extra levels. And extra levels in particular, these are where your normal attack damage characters start to shine a lot more. The SP characters are there to get you through the first 5 waves as fast as possible. The extra levels though, that's when the normal attack damage characters start to, be more important. And unfortunately for us, right, most of them are technique. Like, literally 3 of the normal attack damage characters here have attribute disadvantage. Aizen, disadvantage. Noritura, disadvantage. Robert, who right now is the best character for this phase. If you have him, it becomes significantly easier, especially when paired with Bambietta and also 9th Grammy. But once more, he's another technique character, and he's also someone that I assume most people don't own because he's yet to rerun as a filler. That likely is to happen hopefully soon, and then Rukia is your next best unit. The only normal attack damage character here that doesn't have attribute disadvantage. But unfortunately for her, she does not have any immunity, so you're going to have to give her fire immunity. So for today's video, we're going to go in, try Bambietta at max transcendence. We're going to remove her transcendence after that, and then we'll even see if we can clear with 7th anniversary Ichigo. But for me, when I tried it in phase 1, it didn't really go all too good. Now, for those that are wondering, the best way to build your characters, like always, is go with the killer sticker, the strong attack damage badge, and also the speed ball at 5-star+. Give your character as much recharge, full stamina, strong attack damage as possible. In my case, I'm going with these 3 links. As much transcendence helps, obviously. The more damage you can get, the better. And for a character like Bambietta in particular, go with full stamina and also damage to lash-rated enemies as bonus abilities. For me personally, I'm using Rukia. Again, you could use Robert or Aizen. I don't like using Aizen because his damage output is unreliable. It can get really high when the gauge effect and also attack boost is active, but more often than not, it doesn't, especially with Bambietta taking all the status procs. So that's why I'm using Rukia, especially as she does provide a team boost SA2. That does have the booster skill too, and it does help me personally that she is max transcended. In this case, for normal attack damage characters, you're going with a very similar build. The killer sticker, speedball at 5-star+, and also a golden chappie. To make this character fully immune to burn, if you possibly can, you do want to use Kisuke and also Neliel. They're the only 2 characters in the game that offer normal attack damage and also burn in the mind attribute. And then lastly, we're just going to bring Grammy. We're going to put on some accessory for this character so we can deal some damage. But the main reason why he is here, like anytime you use any Quincy character, is to give us 20% more strong attack damage, 30% more damage to enemies that are inflicted with a status element, and then with the Mugetsu sort rate, we're getting an additional 20% strong attack damage. Alright, now so jumping into the quest, let's see how this does go. We're going to start off using our SA1, flash step forward into the 2. For the most part, with a character like this, we can actually kill with one strong attack sometimes. Let's go down Soul Bomb into the 1. Then we need to rely on Rukia to deal some damage. 2 into the 1. And I just missed the strong attack 1. That is so unfortunate. Remember, this character does not have poise break. And then I missed the SA1 again. It's like, you can see the potential with a max transcendent Bambi. Maybe I would want to give this character force damage and strong attack damage links. But right now we're just going with full recharge. Now with Bambietta, it can also get a bit risky if we take damage. And also, one thing that's annoying with Bambietta, and the reason why I'm very fortunate to have the character max transcended, is that Gremmy, unfortunately, can still status procs. Like right now, for example, it's taken us so long to clear this phase because we can't inflict our lacerate and burn, you know? And the way this character was designed too, because she doesn't have a spiritual pressure boost, if we don't get that status proc, we don't do a lot of damage. Like, we need to get that status proc. Other characters, at least when they get their spiritual pressure boost, they deal some damage. And look at this, we're back. Okay, we did actually clear. I thought that was only the 3rd extra level there. And ultimately, that's the biggest problem with the way they designed this character. In a way, if the idea was to make her not so good because she's a zombie, I'm all for it, but it unfortunately resulted in the best lead for a Guild Quest phase just to play absolutely terrible. Because Caleb tried to do something different with this character, right? Right now, essentially every spiritual pressure unit, unless you can't inflict status augments, which is a rarity nowadays, they are relying on inflicting status augments to get their spiritual pressure boost. And that's a fine way to build characters. Like, it's actually really fun. A lot of the characters nowadays are consistent as well, especially with the status augment plus that has been introduced since end of year. And I don't dislike the idea of what they did with Bambietta, where they tried to go down a different route, making a character that isn't relying on getting a spiritual pressure boost to get all their damage output. And you know what? In the future, they can make it better. If a character like this does release once more, they really, need to have status augment plus. But also, most importantly, they need to have, like, some berserker built into the character, because that was one thing, too, with Bambietta. She had no spiritual pressure boost and no built-in strong attack damage. If she did have strong attack damage, it would be a lot better. And maybe more full stamina damage or something like that, because right now, the damage buffs that she does have doesn't really make up for it. Again, right now, she is the best lead for this Guild Quest phase, but I know many others that even have the character is still struggling. And to be fair, that's more so due to the lack of normal attack damage new cards that we have been getting. If you have Bambietta without Robert, you are going to struggle. But the way they designed this character is just, in my opinion, terrible, especially once more like we did when we showcased when you try her outside of Guild Quest. Like, she's struggling in Guild Quest. Imagine her outside of Guild Quest. It's just not fun, especially once more when there are no Arankas. It's even worse. And it's crazy too, right? Because, like, what, a month prior? 2 months prior, they experimented a different route with a character like Uetsu. He's a character that goes against the meta. He doesn't want to inflict status augments, but they did a really good job at that. For starters, they didn't make him Guild Quest specific, but his damage output is super high and also very consistent. Frenzy plus 2, 140% more damage, and then he also does have a gauge effect that gives him 100% strong attack damage and also an additional Frenzy plus 1, so Frenzy 3 overall. And ultimately, in and outside of Guild Quest, this makes the character one of the more fun characters in the entire game, a character that's deserving of someone as cool as Uetsu, but also makes him really good in Guild Quest. A character like Bambietta at this point is really getting carried by the status augments. She's very fortunate enough to have, you know, burn and lacerate in her attacks, because otherwise it would just been significantly worse. How worse? Let's find out. Let's go ahead and remove the transcendence slots. I want to at least try out special level 2. So SP level 10, level 12 focus for the most part. And let's see how it goes now. So let's see how this one does go at 2 out of 5. We're going to try and follow the same pattern here, which for the most part might be very similar in terms of clear times here. Unfortunately, we messed up there with the enemy not being in line, but this is going quite well. Let's kind of drag down then Soul Bomb. My Soul Bomb does hit a tad bit harder because I'm still max transcended in terms of Soul Bomb. But it's not going too bad at 2-5. For Sun, we use our SA2 and then 1. Decent damage. Going into Tesla. That's SA3. Then SA1. And I guess we're going to have to use the SA2. So we still cleared relatively fine. But, you know, I'm in a super endgame account. You know, and that wasn't even a good score for the most part. But I have really good links to compensate for not being at max transcended, you know. And we got hit. And I think the run's dead now. It's like, because again, has Grimmy taken the status procs he has? That makes it so much worse, even if you have the character. Like, Grimmy's gotten better as a support, in my opinion, thanks to status augment plus, because if he does inflict the status augment, you can still do it. And at least then the enemy is, like, stuck in place. But look at this. We're about to not clear here. because Grammy keeps taking all the status procs. The damage here is just non-existent, man. Non-existent when Grammy gets a status proc. To be fair, we also took damage too. So not the best example, but... Man, am I glad I got this character duped out. This is terrible. This is terrible. We'll try again. We'll do another run. And this is mostly just as a result. To be fair, did we even clear the second wave? We did. It really is just because of extra level 3 and 4. Extra level 1 and 2, a character like this was fine, but once we start getting the extra levels, we really do need a new lead. We just need more options in general, because right now everyone's basically using Bambi or a 3-year-old character. And hopefully we can see that sometime soon, maybe even during the anniversary. It would actually be quite the exciting character, because I'm sure many people are tired of Zombie Bambietta. So attempt number 2. Let's see how it goes. SA1 into the 2. Pretty good first start. I mean, we kind of messed up there with the Rookie event. Now at least Rookie has used all her strong attacks. She should lock in on her normal attacks. Let's kind of drag everyone together. But has Grammy inflicted a status on it? Of course he has. It's like, I hate this. Grammy, I like you, but... Bro, relax. Relax. Alright, SA2. Flash step down into the 1. Really good 4th phase there. SA3, did we even get a status proc? We kind of did, and we took damage. You know, we can keep it going, though. We can get back up to full stamina. Of course, Grammy wants to inflict a status on it again. So we deal heal here. Let's just try not to take any damage. Now, I am saving my Soul Bomb. Mainly just for the final boss, potentially. So damage looking good right now. Let's SA1 upwards. Do we get the status proc? No, Grammy does, unfortunately. Grammy, please! Please! I'm voice cracking now. Oh, here we go. SA2. Into the 1. Let's SA3 Soul Bomb. I took some damage. That might have actually ruined the run. How did I not just use a Soul Bomb? How did I get hit? I guess there was a delay on the attack that was already queued up. I guess if we didn't take damage there, we would have won. Yeah, look at that. We literally just used the SA1. I'm not going to go ahead and clear again. I want to move on to 7th anniversary Ichigo. But that was basically us clearing all 4 waves. We actually just used our SA1, and that would have likely killed, but unfortunately took some damage. Alright, so for Team Ichigo, let's try this. Of course, Ichigo once more is going to have to be max transcended. I have heard there's better success if you have 1000 focus as the 6th slot. I'm not going to reroll that, however. The build is going to be the exact same as any SP lead. We're going with full stamina damage and also recharge. For Rookie, the build's basically the exact same. The difference, however, is that we don't really need to give it any fire duration links because Ichigo can give the immunity once we are standing on burn pool. For all our characters here, we are going to use full stamina and also damage to paralyze enemies as bonus abilities. And then Tanjiro is here to buff both of our characters with the 30% damage that he does give as a skill when we are inflicting an enemy with a status on it. And Tanjiro also has some pretty good survivability with the 2 team heals and also boost effects. So to make sure he's using that boost as much as possible, we are giving him recharge, full stamina, and also the Mugetsu soul trait. So let's see how it goes. Surely not good. So I want to make sure we get the status proc straight away. So Rookie does have it. We actually do get a status proc. Unfortunately, not able to take advantage of the weakening effects, which only lasts like a second. Not bad going into the 2nd phase. SA1, let Rookie do a lot of damage there. Lovely. And unfortunately, Rookie is now burnt. So the run's kind of over. I need to make sure, again, to stand off in the side. We'll keep it going, though, just see how it goes for our first attempt. We got to make sure we keep giving the immunity. Actually, then again, to be fair, Tanjiro can heal. So it's not going too bad here. SA2 into the 1. I think we got the status proc. SA3 into the 1. 24 seconds. It's going to be quite a tough one because we need to kill 4 waves here. But that's why we're kind of saving our Soul Bomb. And we just got a boost off. Lovely. It really just comes down to how lucky we can get with status procs here. Which we, yeah, oh man. Dreading it already. I'm not going to try and reset too much because, again, we only have like an hour left before the GQ ends. But yeah, yikes! Is this terrible? Let's Soul Bomb. I mean, at least to get you to the first 2 phase. First 2 extra levels. Which for the most part is all you need to get, you know. Like always, no need to stress if you can't clear the 4 extra levels. Unless you're an SD guild member, when you need to clear it to stay in S League, you shouldn't stress about it all too much. Just get as far as you possibly can, and a team like this can get at least to 2 extra levels. But I feel like we can get a tad bit further. I think we can at least get into the 3rd extra level. Again, I've seen Ichigo clear 4 extra levels, but it's a tough one. It is a tough one. Alright, so let's see how this does go. We're going to use our SA1 straight away. Hopefully, give the immunity like that, for example. You have to spend a bit of time there, but we actually got some decent advantage there with the weakening proc. Another good wave, okay. We just gave the immunity. SA2. Into the 1. Hate that SA1 to this day, but we're getting lucky with the weakening here. Now it gets a bit risky because the boss can... Yeah, like, oh. That is terrible. And he got hit again. The thing is that you have to be careful because the paralysis isn't guaranteed to hit straight away, you know. We are back up to full stamina, unfortunately. Thanks to Tendra on our team. Not looking too good, though. Again, similar clear time here. Maybe we want Aizen on team. We'll try Aizen after this, see how it does go. Maybe Aizen with the barriers can protect us. Use our free. I think at this point, we're just going to try and get into extra level 3. So let's use our Soul Bomb. Maybe not the best there because we didn't get status proc. Or we did get the status proc, but we didn't get the SP boost. We got it there, though. Once more, get into Sun. Sun's quite easy to dodge, to be fair. It was better that time. But again, not enough, right? Not enough. So I guess we can give this a try, but like even then, we're using 3 max transcendent characters here. So when it comes to Aizen's build, we're just going to go with this build in particular. He's immune to burn, fortunately, but just to make sure that he can stack the boost as much as possible and also deal with some damage, I am going to keep the links the exact same. You might want to go for normal attack damage if you really want to. Maybe not even use the Mugetsu Soul trait, but this is what I'm going to work with. His bonus abilities and Transcendent are the exact same as Rukia, full stam, and also damage to paralyzed enemies. When it comes to using Aizen, because we aren't going to always inflict status augments, he might be able to get some type of attack boost. And the barriers might also help us a tad bit too. Because we do notice we kill faster in that first wave there. Okay, pretty good. Aizen, no attack boost just yet. 3rd phase going quite well. Let's SA3 into the 1. Then use our SA2. Someone got a weakening proc. Aizen with the attack boost. You'd love to see it. Can we get the SP boost? Yes, we can. Wait, no, we can't. Never mind. Oh, it's all over the place. It is all over the place. No enemies that left alive. We're going to keep it going, though. We'll reset the app. Just keep the ticket because it is my last one. This will get us back up to full stamina. Let's just see how far we can make it in the extra levels with the time that we do have. SA2. Actually, fortunately for us there, the Innovator, that skill that Ichigo has, I kind of forgot he does have that, actually inflict the status proc there. Is the enemy hit? No, they're not. It's so hard. Again, if you are doing what I'm doing, don't use max settings on the graphics because it's kind of hard to make out whether the enemy is inflicted with status or not. Because we can use our Soul Bomb there. Maybe you want to go like weaken defense design. Probably not. I feel like this team is better. But we did mess up along the way. So let's do one more attempt. All right, here we go. So let's just bring everyone together. SA2. We did give Rukia the immunity. Lovely. Weakening proc was active. Lovely. Aizen with the attack boost too. Okay. Looking good right now. I don't want to use the SA2 just yet, but probably I want to just let the normal attack damage characters deal their damage. SA2 there. Into the 1. Gonna hopefully give the burn immunity, which I think we did do. Let me use my 2 first, then 1. Then 3. Aizen got the gauge active. No attack boost from him, though. Okay, really good 5th wave there. Look at that. 40 seconds. So 10 seconds. Perfect. At extra level. Can we do it? Probably not. Probably not, but we'll see how it goes. So let's make sure to give the immunity. There we go. Probably shouldn't have used my SA3 straight away. Just keep our distance, honestly. We don't want to take any damage. Okay, SA2. We did get the status rock. Unfortunately, I just realized I was trying to pay attention. We actually got Rukia Bun, which kind of sucks. Let's just sob him here. If we can at least kill the third phase, that'd be a bit better. Or third extra level, you know? It's getting close. Not quite, though. Damn, this is tough. Honestly, I feel really bad for those that are stuck using Ichigo. At least you can make it to the third wave. Maybe if you have Robert. If you have Robert, it makes a massive difference. He has really good skills, good damage output. Like I said, normal attack damage characters are the ones that shine in these extra levels. So whenever we do get a normal attack damage character for a Guild Quest phase, listen, they are going to be very, very important when it comes to extra level 3 and 4. All 4 extra levels, to be fair, but especially 3 and 4, because they're the ones doing the consistent damage output and a lot of damage too, millions per hit. Ultimately, the biggest problem with this Guild Quest phase is, one, there's not a lot of new normal attack damage characters. It quite literally is just Robert. And of all the normal attack damage characters, a lot of them are technique, which doesn't help us out, even for Robert's case. But that, in combination with the fact that Bambietta of all characters is the only decent lead, this Guild Quest phase just sucks. It probably is the worst Guild Quest phase in my opinion. Probably up there with Ranged Stonebreaker because there also isn't a lot of options, but it's getting there, and I'm pretty sure they're going to get a new character for June mid-month. When it comes to Ranged Aronka, we have no idea because the Guild Quest is active right now and they didn't release a new character for it. Honestly, maybe the most recent mid-month banner, with Kon and Ururu, one of them should have been a decent lead for this Guild Quest phase. Even a normal attack damage character would have made the banner a lot more appealing, just because of what we are working with here. So yeah, hopefully we do get new options for this Guild Quest phase going forward, hopefully around the anniversary, because those will be banners everyone's summoning on, right? But at the same time, most importantly, Bambietta just kind of sucks.